What's happening, everybody? Trey here.
Hey everybody, it's Sean and Trey with reactions to the classics. Before we get started today, we just wanted to invite you to take a look at our Patreon page where we have all kinds of reward tiers, anywhere from reacting to an entire album to songs, and to supporting us for as little as $1 a month. It really helps us out.
And you can also check out our Facebook and Discord groups down below. Got a great community of people who love music. And all that to say, y'all, let's get to today's video. What's happening, everybody? Trey here, joined again by my dad, Sean, and today we are up to Anthology 3 from the Beatles. Gonna do a part 1, just like Anthology 1 and 2 reviews. We'll split this up into 3 parts since this is about 2.5 hours worth of tunes on this one. So let's just dive right into it.
Let's do it. It was released in October of 1996, so 7 months have passed since Anthology 2. It was the third straight album, all 3 Anthology, double album to go to #1, tying a record from Donna Summer in the U.S. Just a reminder, this was produced by Sir George Martin. It basically covers the last 3 years of their careers. Now, the first 2 had Free as a Bird on Anthology 1, Real Love on Anthology 2. A third Lennon solo demo entitled Now and Then was to be on this one. However, the project was shelved due to Harrison's dislike for the tune.
And just like Anthology 1 and 2, we continue the connecting artwork, which I think is cool, with the kind of like the peeling posters. And you even got a little Easter egg clause of Vorman in George's hair on the Revolver cover. So that is pretty neat. And we're just going to start this off with an instrumental called A Beginning. This was originally intended to be the start of Ringo's track Don't Pass Me By, but they ended up scrapping that, and this was actually heard in the animated film Yellow Submarine. Just kind of a nice strings, a bit serene way, just to intro us to the record.
Yeah, it's only 50 seconds long. It's a weird way to start an album like this, right? But it was supposed to be Now and Then. They were going to follow, or they were going to start all 3 albums out the same way with a quote new Beatles tune, and since that was shelved by Harrison, they kind of didn't have anything, so they decided to go with this. And because they wanted to remain chronological, I think that's why this was up, because there are some things in a later part that we're going to do that are newish for them, and they weren't released. At least they could have went with that. But I mean, it was fine. Sounds like it should be on a movie soundtrack. That's really all I got to say about that. Well, Trey, that's going to take us to a string of 7 of the next 8 songs are actually home demos, which I really enjoy because it gives you a little glimpse truly behind the scenes. This one is Happiness is a Warm Gun. And if you remember from our White Album review, this was found by Lennon. He found a magazine from the NRA that George Martin had brought to the studio and saw an article named Happiness is a Warm Gun, and he thought it was so funny because, you know, if the gun is warm, then you have just shot something. So a very strange thing. But for the Anthology version,
yeah, it was made in about May '68. Nice home demo here, and you know, as you mentioned, you get to see it in its really early stages. We don't have the full, you know, Happiness is a Warm Gun can kind of be split up into 3 different sections. We really only have 2 of those sections here, but I enjoyed that just to see how it developed. You could almost tell a little bit of a youthful exuberance in John's voice here. He almost has a false start where he says, "Oh, that's the wrong chord."
Yeah, he actually cusses in it.
Yeah,
so that's the wrong chord.
I enjoyed it kind of for what it was. It's one of my favorite tunes on the White Album, so to hear an embryonic take of it, it was cool.
Yeah, I agree, and that's going to take us to Helter Skelter. This is the studio track before we go back to all these home demos. Take 2, and this one is quite a bit different than the final version that we're used to on the White Album.
Yeah, a lot of these White Album tunes that we hear on here are more just acoustically arranged, but aren't really that different than the album versions. But this one has a totally different take.
Quite a bit different.
A lot more down and dirty, a bit more gritty and almost ominous, even though the original Helter Skelter kind of has that vibe to it. This one has a bit of a bluesy guitar in it.
It does.
So I really enjoyed it. This was one of my favorites on this record, honestly, because it was just different than what we hear on that album version, and I thought Paul sounded fantastic.
Yeah, this was definitely so much more chill. It does have the drums and the electric guitar. It was okay for me, unlike you. I don't know, in my head, I just kept waiting for him to go all in.
To ramp up.
Yeah, but I do like it because it is different. That's going to take us to Mean Mr. Mustard, Home demo again by John.
Yeah, we get that in Polythene Pam back to back, which I thought segued nice with each other. Good interplay on the guitar.
Just acoustic too, obviously.
Yeah,
it's a home demo.
And it is a little change because he says Shirley instead of Pam in there. So and then that segues us to Polythene Pam. It really just kind of sounded like acoustic versions of those songs, not too different.
He went a little crazy at the end.
Yeah, that's true.
But I thought his voice sounded outstanding, and I don't know if it's obvious it's a home demo, so they hadn't been in recording. Also, they haven't obviously been touring for a couple years. So I don't know, but I thought his voice really sounded good on these. That's what stood out for me. That's going to bring us to the home demo of Glass Onion. Bunch of chattering, stripped back, acoustic. Kind of an interesting version.
Yeah, almost got a little scat type of stuff in there from John. Again, just a pleasant acoustic version here. And then we go on to Paul's track Junk, which we did, we've already reviewed this song on McCartney's self-titled record, and I definitely wish this song would have been included over something like Honey Pie or I Will. Because the melody on this tune is one of Paul's better ones, I think, from this time period. Just a beautiful song, and to hear it stripped back, not like the McCartney version is crazy, intricate or whatever, but this one was just fit his voice. Paul was in top form here.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it was stripped back for me. I liked it. It was kind of a preview. Later on in the next two parts of Anthology, we're going to get into other songs that were included on solo albums. So I like that part of it. It's going to take us to Harrison and Piggies.
Yeah, first Harrison tune up to this point on here.
Once again, stripped back and acoustic because it's a home demo.
I kind of prefer the album version just because it has that a little bit of that wackiness to it, which I think fits the subject matter.
I think it has to be there for the subject matter, right?
So it felt a little flat for me personally. And then we're going to get to Honey Pie after that, which, we're not fans of really any Beatles song that has the word honey in it.
We are not, Trey. I have answered more negative comments, I think, on Honey Pie than maybe anything else in the history of the channel. So let's add to that. I don't like Honey Pie. I can't stand Honey Pie. But I actually think this version is better than the original version, which is to say that
it was
I don't even know what analogy I could use for that, but that's not really saying a lot.
Yeah, I think I've come to learn that I just don't really like that music hall style piano.
I don't either.
Kind of whatever flavor of that you get here, even with old Macca on it, just doesn't do too much for me. And but then we're going to go to my man Richard Starkey here with Don't Pass Me By. I love both of Ringo's tunes on the White Album, this and Good Night. They're both on this first part of Anthology 3. I mean, I thought Ringo sounded good.
I did too.
Especially, by Ringo standards, obviously, with John and Paul sounding so fantastic. It's a little tougher to stand out, but
a lot of pressure.
I thought it was a good take, and not as stripped back as the songs we heard. A bit more full.
Yeah, because this one was actually in the studio. Takes 3 and 5 of it, so you're going to get more of a studio feel, as you are from take 5 of our next tune, Obla-Dee Obla-Da. Trey, I'm not a huge fan of this song either. Now, we were fortunate to see Paul in concert last summer, and it's a great concert song, right? Everybody's singing along. Lots of fun. But as far as the song itself, in the catalog of the Beatles, I don't hold it in as high of esteem as many others do.
Yeah, and here it was a little interesting. You had some horns in there, almost a bit of an echo on Paul's vocals, so I liked the differentiations there. I thought it was a fine tune.
And John was at the start and the finish, and being John, being very smart, I'll clean it up for our channel, smart Alec on it, so that was maybe my favorite part in there. That's going to take us to the Ringo tune you mentioned earlier. It's actually the rehearsal in take 22. Good Night. Just a reminder, John actually wrote this song for his son, Julian, but he ended up letting Ringo sing it. Ringo sounds pretty rough on this one. It gets better as it goes on. It's kind of cool. You can hear George Martin as well on here. There's also some chatter at the start. We've done enough of these now. This is part 7 of the Anthology series. I really like the chatter. I like to hear the studio stuff.
Yeah, that was the highlight for me too. Don't have too much more to add. And then we go to take 1 of Cry Baby Cry. I mean, this sounded remarkably similar, honestly, to the album version, which
it did.
I mean, the album version is very very low key as well, so I guess that's kind of why I enjoyed it for what it was.
I did too, and it didn't have the McCartney part in there at the end.
Yeah, the "Can You Take Me Back?"
Yeah, so I thought that was kind of cool too, because we could just hear John in all his glory. That takes us to Blackbird. Stripped back even more so than the original. It's take 4. I thought it was fine. Very good vocal performance from Paul. Not a whole lot different for me.
No, that's what I was going to say. My I guess critique on it isn't on the song itself. Paul sounds fantastic, but I almost wish they would have done something else here.
Yeah,
maybe
give me something else.
Something different, because this really sounds probably closer than any other tune to just what you hear on the album, just because of how Blackbird is arranged. So exactly. I would have preferred maybe another take of a song we didn't get in here, even if it would be in a very rough state. I think that would have been cool, but nonetheless, we're going to keep on trucking.
Take 6 of Sexy Sadie, and very similar for me, Trey. Very close to the final version. I think John sounds fantastic here once again.
Yeah, I mean, I think you noticed that there's a lot of White Album on Anthology 3.
Very much so.
Obviously, just because of the sheer amount of tracks in there and the home demo and Escher.
Yeah, you got 30 tracks. It's like more than 2.5 albums on a lot of them.
So in saying that, a lot of them are just, as we've mentioned time and time again, just the acoustic type of sound, which you enjoy. But here I thought we maybe needed something to break that up a little bit. But I did enjoy the tune.
Now we're going to get to the demo of While My Guitar Gently Weeps. And I don't want to spoil it for anybody. If you haven't watched our ranking videos, you need to go watch. We ranked every Beatles song by whoever sang the lead vocal. But this was our number 1 Harrison tune. Now this one, much different than the previous tunes, is a much different take of this song.
Exactly. He recorded this with his acoustic guitar and the harmonium. He was on his Gibson J200. I just enjoyed the fact that, his voice and the lyrics and just the song itself really does lend to an acoustic version, as well as obviously the electric version where you can really hear that lead guitar part in there. But I think just hearing Harrison on this was kind of a treat. Obviously on the album we have a Clapton overdub in there, which is just great. But here it was different enough to, I think, warrant its inclusion.
Yeah, and as I mentioned, we obviously love the album version, but I actually really like this one too. I don't like it more because I like the album version so much. But yeah, this was actually really good. And if I would have just heard this and not the album version, I would have this is a fantastic song. And we're going to finish out this part of Anthology 3 with Hey Jude. I think Paul sounds fantastic on the vocal here. He actually starts out singing something else, pops into this. Otherwise, it's not a whole lot different.
Yeah,
it's take 2, by the way.
Yeah, the transition was cool, and I think Hey Jude, after you've heard it a bunch, works better as a 4-minute track as opposed, to the 7 longer minute track. I find myself, whenever it comes up on a playlist or something, more time skipping it than you would think, just because it's like, sometimes the na part drags on, whereas this didn't have it. I agree. We got into it. So,
and that's a little bit of a hot take from Trey here, because Hey Jude is so beloved by Beatles fans, and we love it. But once again, I'll mention he sang it at concert. I mean, in the concert, that part of it's fantastic. But it's more for a sing-along than, hammering it out into a 7-minute song for me too. So I really did enjoy that part. That is going to do it for part 1. We still got 2 more parts, and then we'll finish out the Anthology series. Check out Anthology 1 and Anthology 2 linked below. If you like this video, give it a big thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? We upload every single day. There is something for everyone, from song reactions to live streams to album reviews. Trey, appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
All right. Until next time, guys, we will
see ya.